Okay, so let's talk about The Legend of Zelda. We all know how in Twilight Princess, at the end of the game, you happen to defeat Ganondorf. What I was thinking is, maybe Ganondorf didn't die back then. Because in the new Breath of the Wild trailer, you see a mummy with a very similar wound, also on its chest. And since Ganondorf from Twilight Princess is the only one that really has the same kind of wound, thanks to those sages, perhaps it's the same Ganondorf. Perhaps it's his body. I'm thinking that also because right before Ganondorf so-called dies, you see Zant snap his neck. And in the trailer, when the mummy awakens, it also has a very similar way of snapping its neck. So perhaps Zant did something to make sure Ganondorf wouldn't die. Perhaps he just put him into a comatose-like state. Perhaps he made him temporarily die, who knows. Also, my friend mentioned how the lights that were surrounding him looked a lot like the lights in Twilight Princess. I think she might be onto something too. I think that might actually be legit. Of course, we do not know this, it's only a theory. But my theory is that it's the same Ganondorf as Twilight Princess. And that Link perhaps touches it. And that's how the seal breaks. Because you see his arm all glowing by the same kind of glow. And I think it has to do with that. I also think that the Malans from Breath of the Wild, the first part, was leaking out from Ganondorf's body. Because when you see that mummy, you see the power that looks very similar to Malan's all around him. But it's like going away from him. It looks like it's leaking out of him. Which means, if that is where the source is, then it's most likely that Ganondorf is underneath Hyrule Castle. Because that's where Calamity Ganon came from. So perhaps they go venture under the castle to try and find the source of the malice. And then they stumble across that body and they set Ganondorf free again. I really do think I'm onto something. I'm not sure, but I've seen a couple of other theory videos and I've kind of connected them into one video right now. And I think it's a pretty solid theory. I'll put some links down in the description below so you can check out the other theory videos that I'm talking about. And then you can get your own theory on it. I honestly think there's some truth in this one. Of course, it's a little far-fetched that Sant would do that, but perhaps he did. Why he would do that, I have no idea. Perhaps after defeating him, he finally realized Ganondorf was using him, and he knew that Ganondorf wouldn't die. So perhaps he just did that to make sure he wouldn't wake up again. Perhaps Sant is the hand that after that catches Link after he falls. Because I think you see Zelda falling, you see Link holding her hand to make sure she wouldn't fall. I think after that Link also kind of fell, but the glowing hand grabbed him so he wouldn't fall. What I think is that the body and Zelda both fell down afterwards, and that's when Zelda turns around and sees the body come to life. So I think that somehow Ganondorf is gonna get his hands on Zelda again, most likely. And yeah, that glowing arm, I don't know if it will come back or not, but maybe it's Zand or Zand's powers, I don't know. I mean, he does have weird glowing swords. And they look like they have a little bit of malice on it. Because malice is kind of, you know, it has a red glow to it. And with Twilight Princess, a lot of those blue glows turn red. That's also a very interesting theory, by the way, because in Skyward Sword, someone theorized that malice was already in Skyward Sword. And that the water, which is down in the dungeon, which dungeon was it again? It's in the ancient Crystern? Yes, it's down there. There's like purple water, and if you touch it, it hurts you. Same way malice hurts you. Or red water. Why am I saying purple? I'm too much into the FNAF theories right now too. Well, it is like it's like a dark red color. So it's possible that that dark red color was malice in its previous form. I also think that malice is more like a disease. That's also, I'll put the link in the description to another theory video in there. Because there's one guy that did a lot of theories surrounding malice. And I think he's honestly right about that. It sounds very interesting. It would be awesome if that would be true. Also, the enemies down there in that temple from Skyward Sword, they're also kind of zombies. And they look like they might also be being controlled by the malice. So perhaps this was already going on for a long time in the Zelda series. So yeah, that's my theory. I think that it's the Ganondorf from Twilight Princess, and he survived somehow, or half, because he does seem to be a dead person. Somehow he comes back in Breath of the Wild, newer game. That's my theory on it. Yeah, it might also explain why they made a quick remake of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. The HD version. Maybe they made that so people would be reminded to Twilight Princess and would play that game again. And then, after that, Breath of the Wild. So perhaps that is why they released Twilight Princess HD. So yeah, you can comment down below if you have your own theories. I would definitely like to read them. And I will see you in the next video.